she's just that kind of woman. She's European. Happy Pride to all of my European bitches out there.
Oh my god, I wish that people would say that about me.
You know, she's just a little...
She's eccentric. She's European.
She's a little European. If you know, it's like she doesn't wear a bra, she's European.
Which is so funny because canonically she's supposed to be Egyptian.
Yeah, what the fuck was going on there? Anyways,
we'll dive into that.
What's up? Welcome. We're diving into The Swamp. It's our podcast. It's an acronym.
Stands for some whack-ass movie podcasting.
Happy Pride, you bitches. We're talking about gay vampires this month, and my god, I didn't even really know that this movie was actually gay.
Seconds before we start this, Dara's like, I didn't even know there was actually going to be gay sex when I suggested this. I just thought David Bowie was in it, and that basically counted.
No, real. I was like, it's going to be a highly stylized vampire movie with David Bowie in it. That feels like it qualifies as being gay vampire. But then there's like we get like minutes of scissoring.
I'll tell you what, because I wrote about this in my notes.
I wrote about this in my diary. I wrote about this to my therapist. I wrote about this.
I posted about this on my blog.
My second blog, my secret blog, and my secret blog.
Okay, I knew it was gonna get really gay when she said, I don't like Sherry, and she goes, I think you'll like this one. How about I come everywhere?
Yeah, right? Wait, so I want to know, did you know anything about this movie? Because I knew David Bowie was going to be in it, and that it was a vampire movie, and that's really it.
I knew what
arty.
I knew what you told me, which was that. Nothing else. I also told you this before we popped on. I had no idea Susan Sarandon was in this until the main title cards pulled.
Oh, yeah. What a pleasant surprise. Love it when her and her gorgeous breasts just pop right up.
I'm sorry, but you know it's about to be a good movie when Sue shows up with that tucked-in white t-shirt and the best jeans you've ever seen. Gay shit incoming.
Fitted up, nipples hard. And then she
of course.
She triumphantly takes off her top and reveals her breasts to us.
It's the slow motion throughout all of it that really did it for me. The slow-mo nipple was, really brilliant. But I thought this was, honestly, in terms of a lesbian sex scene, this was very tastefully done. It was sexy. It was prolonged, which I feel like we only get if it's really disrespectful.
Right.
And, like this 10 minutes of scissoring from like blue is the warmest color.
Yeah.
It was that, but not at all gross or disgusting or, what's it called when you like use someone for sexual gratification? What's the word I'm thinking of?
Oh, like exploitative.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was rather respectful and obviously beautifully shot because this entire movie is beautifully shot. 7 out of 10 on the lesbian sex scale, though. Cannot
speak to what the actual final cut was, because did it go too far? We'll never know. But this movie, the MPAA said this is X rated. You can't show this. This is an NA X rated film because of this prolonged lesbian sex scene, and this was the cut version that made the R rating. So there is what was originally the original first pass of the movie was deemed too much.
Okay.
Which I found this to seem quite uncompromising. So I'm almost wondering, now that you bring up, like, maybe it did go too far. But I do know in interviews, both the actresses said that there were body doubles, it was a closed set, and that it was very comfortable. Like, when like, oh, Susan, that must have been crazy. She's like, it really wasn't. She's like, it was very professional.
I'm an actor, and it's my job. It's nothing crazy. But yeah, no, I thought that was awesome, and I wasn't expecting it. So
I literally didn't know that this movie is legitimately about a bisexual queen vampire who pops off and lives forever, and then her little partners don't live forever. And so if you've never seen The Hunger, basically the premise is that Miriam is our head main vampire, and that she has lived for a long ass fucking time,
like 2,000 years,
because like her origins are Egyptian, which is not fucking ringing true to me. French ass Catherine Deneuve is playing an Egyptian vampire who does not have fangs but uses an ankh pendant to slice the victims.
Oh my God.
Okay,
just put Elizabeth Taylor back in the Egyptian makeup and throw her on my screen if that's what we're doing here.
They did that for a second. They put her in like a headdress and they did a flashback for a second, and I said, whoa. When this was just an implied lore, I already was not with it.
I don't think I even recognized it until I had to... I'm sure you fell down the rabbit hole of afterwards being like, I need lore. Because this movie gives you nothing in terms of background.
Right. Well, and like vampirism is incredibly different in this universe, almost to a point where I was like, wait, is this even a vampire movie? But then it's like, yes, they're feasting on blood. I think if you're eternal and you feast on blood, you're a vampire. That's sort of the baseline.
Well, they're refined vampires, you know.
Right. And
they're
their
not
lore
affected
is
by
so different.
Silver or the sun, or they don't have fangs.
Right. And
so I was a little
lie
confused.
in the coffins, but that's more of like the end of life vampire thing. Also, like the vampire spawn are different than the main vampire, which is also true of vampire lore, generally speaking. But this one is incredibly non-specific and is far more concerned with showing us like dancing shots of people in a nightclub than it is like telling us what's going on, which honestly, I didn't really mind. I didn't really mind that they didn't dig too deep into it because I honestly don't think there's much beneath the surface. I think that they just went with it.
I wish they gave me a little more, I will say, because I was very confused, sort of, in terms of, like, my whole question is, why do her lovers die and she doesn't? I didn't understand that she was a queen vampire, and it's very much, like, the same idea as last week with the Lost Boys, where it's like,
kill the head vampire.
You gotta kill the head vampire, but you have to also, like all the other ones are just half vampires right now. Like, David Bowie is a half vampire or something.
Yeah.
He's no queen.
Yes, that was immediately apparent to me, but because I've been like balls deep in vampire lore for my Dungeons and Dragons campaign, I've been more tuned in to the signs. But yeah, she's the head vampire and she is eternal, but then when she turns someone, they live for like only 300 years. So a long ass time, but they do live forever, but they don't retain their youth. So their youth goes away after like 300 years and then they just have to eternally rot in their own corpse in her fucking attic. So her cycle, I guess, is that she finds a lover, hangs out with them for 300 years. They get old and she says, sorry I didn't warn you about this. I did say forever, and I did just mean 300 years. Get in the box. And she puts them in a coffin, she puts them up in the attic, and she collects them, and then she finds someone new. And she seems to be a pathological liar in the sense that she always uses the term, like, eternal life, eternal youth to these people while turning them, and then does not mention the inevitable 300-year birthday surprise. Like, because David Bowie was like, hey, I know this did happen before. Can you let me know what's going on? She's like, I'm aloof and so classy. I will never answer your question. And then it's just like, okay, so we as the audience also don't get to know? Like,
no, exceptionally manipulative. And then it becomes the whole thing of, this movie's kind of broken up into two parts where David Bowie is your main character until he dies and halfway through. Sarandon. And then Susan Sarandon becomes the main character. But how we get there is basically David Bowie is looking for essentially the substance. He's like, please, anything to make me stop aging, someone. And Susan Sarandon is like working on like fast aging monkeys in this
is how
biomedical lab.
This is how you know that she is doing legitimate research that is so important because A, she wrote a book, okay, and she's doing signings, and that means that she has hit something big. She's also doing shit with monkeys. They do not let amateurs fuck around with the apes, okay?
No, that's just the mice.
So you know when they show you a scientist in a lab coat standing in front of a monkey, that they're the top scientist. And that's what we know about Susan Sarandon. And it's amazing. It's amazing because we get this intercut scene of David Bowie. His character's name is John, but I am just going to call him David Bowie.
Exactly.
Catherine Deneuve, the main vampire, her name's Miriam. And they're like a couple, and they like to have like hot, sexy vampire like foursomes where they like really feast on them. But it's like they go to the club and they do a like making eyes at you from across the club. We like your vibe kind of deal to this other couple. But then we get this like very erotic. This movie is like categorized as like an erotic horror, is because there's a lot of fucking in it as well.
I didn't feel, I mean, like, it was hot, but it was not anything crazy to me, but it was also the 80s, so.
We see nip. We get some nippy. We get titty action. I think that
at least two different people's nipples, so.
But then it's like intercut with this like footage of a monkey like screaming.
Oh,
so it's
like ripping another monkey apart.
It's like people fucking and then like rabid apes was an incredible way to kick off this movie. I was like, I think I get what's going on here. Like
it
this
felt
is
very like student art film, but I wasn't mad about it.
Yeah, and so Susan Sarandon is in charge of the wild apes and she's making them age. She's bringing them to the lab that makes you old. Like
literally.
like, what? Like, and so her whole like research seems to be like, oh, we can speed up aging, so now we have a handle on the biological clock. So now that we know that we can progress it, now we should be able to
slow it down.
Which that line of thinking, girly pop, is not really ringing true to me.
Yeah, I feel like you kind of just wasted your time.
Kind of just wasted a monkey. Like
exactly.
They're like he aged. And he aged 100 years in 10 minutes. I'm like, what?
The way they aged to that monkey was diabolical, too.
It was so upsetting. So deeply upsetting.
But yeah, like, just watching this monkey become, like, old and decrepit, and I'm sure it was a puppet or something like that. But Jesus Christ, when the skin starts to fall off its bones, I was like, all right, guys, we can reel it in here a little bit, but, you know, it is a horror movie.
As soon as it gets to be, like, too much, they take a step back and you get to see the aging monkey through the monitor, so through Susan Sarandon's, like, grainy monitor. So you get this, like, grainy footage of, like, a decomposing monkey corpse. It was a lot for a vampire film. I gotta be honest.
Out of all of the action, which there is very little in this movie, that was one of the more just...
all the action was fucking.
Exactly, literally. Clam on clam.
Yeah. Happy Pride. She's European, honey.
She's European, honey. Oh my fucking god. What the fuck was I gonna say, Dara? Yeah, I just think there was literally, for a fucking vampire movie, it was exceptionally slow, and I get it. It's like a goth movie. It makes sense.
It was like 97 minutes, and this movie felt 3 hours long.
I had to go. I watched the first half of this. I watched David Bowie's half at my house, and then I had to go to the gym and watch it on my phone because I couldn't, like, stop getting bored and scrolling. And I was like, I need to walk on the treadmill while I do this.
Wow. I needed the halfway point break, which I actually did pause at the perfect exact moment once David Bowie has laid to rest, and then we enter. It's like, honestly, there should be a title card, like Act 2.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Now it's about Susan Sarandon, right? But no, I was like, I need to take a minute, like...
Pacing was really fucking weird.
Awful, like, really bad.
Yeah.
But did you know that this movie was made by Ridley Scott's brother, Tony, who also made Top Gun?
Yeah. I didn't know he made Top Gun. I didn't know he was Ridley Scott's brother.
Yeah, this is his first film. So it's funny.
Sense.
It's funny that he started with this and he ended up being, like, the action movie guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because, you said, this movie is, like, sort of severely lacking in that category, especially coming off of, like, Lost Boys, which was like,
pretty bored.
motorcycle, you know, gang fights and stuff. This one, it's like all of the violence was, like, just incredibly... like, specifically upsetting. Like, it wasn't like
child murder.
Vampire fights.
You're talking about the child murder.
I'm talking about the child murder and the decomposing aging ape.
Yeah,
as the two primary.
I wasn't even mad about the decomposing like other lovers or anything like that, or like the mummified lovers, like whatever. Ape was a lot, and I was impressed that for 1983 they did blatant child murder.
Yeah, well, so what happens is that David Bowie, if you've never seen The Hunger, David Bowie is this vampiress. He's her lover, and his 300-year clock is up, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna age like a ton in a day. So he's like, I better go to the hospital. Wrong move, my guy, because they make you sit in a waiting room until you're literally 100. Yep. He shows up, and he's like 50 or like 60 looking, like maybe.
That. He's got the wrinkles on the neck.
He leaves and he's haggard. He's like ready for hospice.
Yeah. You can see he looks like in, oh my god, what was it? Revenge of the Sith, when Palpatine gets zapped and all of his like he gets really fucked up and scarred. That's what he ends up looking like as he leaves the hospital.
And so then basically he uses his like final moments to take out who he believes Miriam wants her next companion to be, which is incredibly weird because it's this teenage girl, this younger teenage girl who lives across the street, and she like comes over for music lessons. And he accuses Miriam at one point. He's like, "That's who your next person is going to be. I can tell you like her." And Miriam's kind of like, "Stop saying words and just shrivel up already. None of your business, honestly."
Is this before he tries to accost her with his shriveled up dick? Maybe not with his dick, but they start making out, he starts making out with her.
Yeah, this is before.
Okay. But this I do think that was the intention, though, is like, that was Miriam's.
Well, yeah, and he's like, "I can tell, so I'm gonna kill her first."
You're grooming her.
Yeah, like, I'm gonna, kill her so that, I'll take her out with me in the end or whatever. He also drinks her blood thinking it will maybe help, and it just doesn't, so duh.
Last-ditch effort.
But, like, the very prolonged exasperation of, like, oh, this underage girl who you teach music lessons to, oh, you're gonna groom her to be your vampire companion, and it's, like really tearing into that, and then the setup, because something's gonna happen, and he makes her play the violin. You're, like, just waiting for it to get awful and gross, and then, and then he gets her. And that's, like, that's, like, the big main kill we get, other than we get the sexy vampire Susan Sarandon becomes a vampire, and then she, like, eats her boyfriend, but that's also not, like, that wasn't too graphic.
Not really on screen. I feel like the most, like, other than that, we get the main kill in the beginning, which, like, is exposition. I will say, though, you were an American Horror Story person at one point in time, right?
Yeah, we were of an incredibly pivotal age when that show first came out.
And like, I would 15 years old watching, like, a Coven. That was huge.
Yeah, I definitely was super into it seasons 1, 2, 3, maybe dropped off a little bit. I watched the clown one, and I remember thinking, this is really taking a turn for the worse. And then I remember getting reinvigorated by the Lady Gaga season, but then after that, I just didn't, because I was like, I only liked the parts that she was in, and I don't really care for this. And at that point, he was coming out with the O.J. Simpson show, which was really what was tickling my interest. And I was like, maybe Ryan Murphy, you just need to be doing something else at this point, because the show is not getting any better.
Well, down the tubes, and you could tell, because the entire intro scene of this movie, beat for beat, Ryan Murphy ripped it off, and that's how we meet Lady Gaga's vampire in Hotel. It's exactly the same. And she's also
with the club and the...
Yeah, she's also very, like, European.
She's very European.
Like, heiress or something like that. Didn't they call her the Countess or whatever?
Yeah.
Like, very, like, posh and well done up and all. And you know the whole thing. I mean, if you haven't seen Hotel at this point, you really should. But yeah, I know Ryan Murphy every now and then has a crumb of, like, gold on his hands, but I do forget that at the end of the day, that man is a hack.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I can't, like, it's tough because Glee exists.
Of course.
And thank you, sir, for your service. And yeah, early American Horror Story is so good. I liked the American Crime Story OJ season. I think he's got some. Yeah, he's got something, but yeah, definitely.
Once he gets too far in, you can tell he just loses inspiration.
He can't let go.
He can't let go. Like,
he also loves money, which, hey.
That's true. Like, Glee season, I think 3 is the last time it was good. I didn't go past that. It shouldn't have gone past that. I think a lot of people would
disagree with you on that, but 3 seasons? You thought there should have only been 3 seasons of Glee.
I think it got bad after that.
But it did get bad in a way that brought us all together.
That's true. But same with American Horror Story, American Crime Story. I would dare to say the same thing. I think that one with, what was the name of the twins that he just did? That it was like a whole, I don't know. It was like the one with Chloe Sevigny. Yeah.
Can I entirely pivot this conversation to talk about Karen Reed? Have you seen today?
Yes. Big day for any Massachusetts person.
Hey, murderinos, it's a true crime podcast now, and we're going to tell you about the Karen Reed case. No, actually, we're in Massachusetts, so this is something that has been happening, a trial that's been going on in our state since 2022, I believe. Yeah, and
that's when the incident occurred,
This woman was being put on trial because her boyfriend, who's a cop, got murdered by other cops, and they tried to pin it on her, and it's basically all all this evidence has just continually come forward over the years of like all those cops, their phones were like how to get rid of deadbody.com.
Yeah.
Like literally they were all so fucking stupid about it.
They got rid of the dog that obviously attacked him.
Yeah, if Google it, but today she is free. She walks free with only a DUI. For whatever reason, they peppered that in somewhere throughout the trial, but she's not going to jail for not murdering her boyfriend, which she definitely didn't do. And now also, hopefully, we can get on a path towards fucking cops being held accountable for their actions. This is like one crumb, but I'll take it.
Give it maybe 6 months until Ryan Murphy sticks his little fingers into that and makes the series about this.
I mean, the current like, dramatization of real life events is feeling so dystopian to me. Like opening up my HBO and seeing the Luigi Mangione documentary, that should be illegal.
Words out of my mouth.
His trial should get thrown out now. That doesn't make any sense. How is that not interference? Like, it's wild to me. Really crazy times we're living in. But if you're interested to read about the Karen Reed case, it just wrapped up, so you got to get the whole beginning to end story.
Once she writes that book, at least she's going to be a millionaire. So she's probably riding high for the rest of her life.
She'll get her back.
It was only exceptionally traumatic, but I'm happy for her. I'm super happy. Happy for everyone in Massachusetts today. Yeah. What was I going to say, though?
Taking down some pigs.
For real.
But basically, we're talking about the movie The Hunger.
Can I do another hard pivot?
Yeah.
While we're in Hard Pivot City, did you clock the jump scare in this movie? Did you clock Mr. Willem Dafoe?
Mr. Willem Dafoe. I literally paused and I rewound it and I was like, I know those teeth. I said, honey, I know that jaw.
Yeah, it was the jaw.
I was like, I know that man. And I was like, what? And then I Googled it and then I got the whole little fun factoid that I guess I just keep wanting to call him Ridley. Tony Scott. Tony Scott really fought for Willem Dafoe to get this one line role in this movie and they didn't want him for whatever reason.
He was probably also on his way in terms of acting at this point, 1983.
Yeah, right? So weird. I was like, was he just on set? I was like, was he filming something next door? And they were like, hey, get over here. Do you want to do a line? You want to do a line in this vampire movie? And he was like, yeah, sure.
He looks sexy to me still.
I was glad to see him pop up,
I'm not mad about it.
Couldn't get any better after Susan Sarandon, and yet they gave us that too.
Exactly. I didn't think it could get hornier, and there's big swinging dick Willem Dafoe on my screen.
Oh my god. They should have had him get all shriveled up. I bet that would be a sight.
I wish. No, I don't know that I'd really seen anything else with David Bowie in it before. Have you watched?
He only has a couple of movies.
Sure, The Man Who Fell to Earth. I know that one.
Yep, there's also one that is just a Ziggy Stardust movie, and it's primarily his music, and I think he's in something else too, but...
Oh, Labyrinth, of course.
Of course. Well, yes, we've covered that on the pod if you'd like to rewind and listen, but...
He's not only in crossing over Willem Dafoe in this movie, but apparently he's also in The Last Temptation of Christ. Didn't you know?
I did watch that movie recently, actually.
Did you actually?
Who does he play in that?
I have no idea. God, I didn't realize how many... Yeah, he's in the Basquiat movie. I forget that he plays.
Wait, he plays fucking Alan Turing, I think, in... Oh, no. He plays Nikola Tesla. He plays Nikola Tesla in The Prestige, in the Christopher Nolan movie The Prestige. That's what my most notable David Bowie discography pull.
Oh, hold on, let me find... I can't believe you watched this recently.
Zoolander.
How was it?
I guess he was in Twin Peaks Fire Walk with Me. Oh, The Last Temptation of Christ. I definitely just wanted to watch Willem Dafoe be Jesus.
He plays Pontius Pilate, dog.
That's crazy.
You didn't clock David Bowie as Pontius Pilate?
I guess not.
Yeah, I also watched that as a thirst watch, but I don't think I got further than an hour in. I couldn't take a Harvey Keitel as Judas. That was a lot.
Oh, wait,
to swallow.
Love that. I love that box dye they put in his hair. Crazy. That was hilarious. It was hilarious.
Why is Judas a ginger?
Wait, let me Google David Bowie in as Pontius Pilate.
I bet it looks sexy. Obviously.
Oh, they also gave him some boxed hair dye. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, he does look good.
I'm pulling him up. Whoa. I actually probably wouldn't have even clocked him.
Yeah.
He looks
really different.
I mean, he's got a crazy bowl cut. That's what it is.
David Bowie, as an actor, I'm going to say gets a pass on the pass-fail system, but overall does not impress me, but I'm not mad to see him. Right? Like,
yeah.
A soft neutral stance. I thought he was good in this, but because it was mostly, like...
He maybe had 15.
Like, right, it was kind of leaning into his aesthetic as well, and then it was just, like, old man makeup on him, so it didn't really matter.
This was an aesthetic movie. Yeah.
It was like very, cool and musical.
Yeah, you're gonna come in, we're gonna put you in some cool sunglasses.
Cool as fuck. Right,
and then we're gonna age you. And then you're gonna pee your pants and we're gonna put you in a box.
Right, and then that's the first half, and then it's a wrap, honey.
And that's it. You don't see him again until, like, the very end, skin and bones.
Until he comes out of the box. Until they all come out of the box, which is how the movie ends.
Of course.
So Susan Sarandon says, honey, I don't want to be a vampire. I'm getting my blood tests done. And then they do the blood test, and they say, this is weird. And she says, well, I don't want to be a vampire. And Susan Sarandon says, then Miriam is like, aren't you hungry? And she's like, I actually am. And she's like, here is a prostitute, because society doesn't care about them, so we just get to eat them. And Susan Sarandon's like, please, no. And then she's like, well, here's your boyfriend. And she's like, I could have a snack. And then she eats her boyfriend, question mark? Her boyfriend who's like being
really
incredibly...
shitty boyfriend. So I was
like being so hostile towards her at this dinner, and basically was like, why did you have a 3-hour conversation with this woman? Which is such an incredibly
He could smell
pointed...
the pussy. He could smell the pussy stank still on her mouth.
And she keeps being like, say what you mean. And he's like, I just don't see what you could have been talking about for 3 hours. And she's like, say what you mean. And he's like... pissed me off. But so yeah, then she eats him and she's like, okay, vampirism, I get it, but I still don't want to be under your thrall, girlfriend. And so she's not really into this whole arrangement. And so then she onks herself in the face and dies.
In the throat, thank you.
But because Miriam like also gets some of Susan Sarandon's blood like in her and on her like during this dispute, then it undoes her eternal vampirism, and all the ex-husbands get to rise up.
They've switched like queen bees, essentially.
Right.
There can only be one.
And all it took was I don't understand why it was so specific, because they drank each other's blood before.
Because I don't...
Was it the Ankh? Was it all about the Ankh? Is it all an Egyptian thing? Because they did not explain that well enough.
No, so it was... because she drank her half vampire blood or something like that, they now switch or some shit like that. This is all based on a book, apparently, which I think did give you more of the lore behind it, but you get none of that here. You don't even realize that Susan Sarandon lives until, essentially like this tacked on afterthought of a scene. But essentially it's, so she becomes now a half vampire, so she's able to die. And I think what it is that David Bowie has managed to get out of his crate upstairs and unlocked everyone else and said, girl, we're gonna get you.
And then they zombie vampire hog onto her, and that's the end.
She falls 6 flights of stairs down, smacks her fucking pelvis on the ground, and rapidly ages and dies. Quote unquote dies. But essentially what happened was that should have been the movie. That was the first cut. Essentially what happened, this tested really well with audiences, but the studio wanted the option to do a sequel.
Fuck that.
Exactly.
So we have to leave it open-ended.
Yeah. So that's why you get Susan Sarandon in her penthouse in London with her 2 little vampire sluts.
So lame. Whatever.
Apparently it's a lot better if you just stop it right there and don't technically finish the movie. But yeah, apparently a lot of this people that worked on this movie were pretty pissed about that whole thing.
I feel like as they should have been, especially if you're under the impression that the story you're telling is one thing, and then they were like, actually, some testing said we should do it this other way, so that's what we're gonna do. And you're like, the testing? What the fuck do they know? You know? I'm the person who's been making this thing for a long time. I could see how that would be really fucking frustrating.
Absolutely. One of my
favorite like sequence of events in this movie
Please.
Because I think it's like right after he leaves the hospital and he's like, I have been aging so fast and I'm so hungry. And so David Bowie, old vampire David Bowie, is like stumbling around town looking for a snack. And he like at first is like in a men's bathroom and he's like, ooh, I'm gonna get you. And then he's like, just kidding, maybe not. And then he like stumbles out and he's like hungry. And this is what all ends up leading to him killing the violin student, which is sort of weird because it's like he has several opportunities to kill people he doesn't know. And then obviously then he's like, I'm gonna do the strategic thing and kill this child, which is like fucked. But there's this intermediate section where we get this like music number with this roller skater, and what is being intercut there? It's like the roller skater is getting like overlay shots of like maybe Susan Sarandon doing science or something. Like for some reason
like that, yeah.
Right. But it's just like
tons of overlay shots, that's for sure.
It's this empty warehouse and it's like this cool 80s person with like a boombox like doing this cool like roller skating dance aerobics routine.
Gorgeous big hair, tiny shorts on this man.
Fitted up, just like so cool. Then David Bowie just like shows up and it's like, I'm gonna kill you. And then he gets him, but then he just slashes him and then he runs away. Like they have a scuffle and then he just like leaves him. And I'm like, I love that they worked backwards so hard. They're like, so how do we find a reason to put like a cool roller skater in for like 9 minutes? David Bowie gets him. No, then people are gonna be sad. So David Bowie doesn't get him. He just kind of gets him and we leave him. Because then we can all imagine that he's roller skating forever, you know?
I love that the roller skater didn't even go after David Bowie. David Bowie just runs off and, like, he's essentially, like, kind of fine.
100. David Bowie's old as fuck. I'm like, you could chase him. You're on wheels.
Beat his ass, dog.
Hunger. I think I'm hungry for some chocolate or vanilla, honey. Let's get hungry for some decisions. I don't know. Jen's here. She's going to do her interim podcast segment, Chocolate or Vanilla. You don't know who Jen is? What? Are you fucking new here or something? She's my mom. Duh. And she invented this game, which is just a decisions game. She says 2 things. We all just say which one we like better. Hoot, holler, grand old time. Jen, is there a theme this week?
There is a theme, and it will be a recurring theme because this is a summer of 76 versus 84.
Ooh, music old debate. So years. This is between you and my father, and the prompt is objectively or personally? Like, to your personal opinion, or do you objectively believe that this is the best year? Which one is it?
Personal opinion. Yeah.
Okay.
So he claims that 76 was
comprehensively,
the best.
comprehensively, what is the best year for music?
Right.
For all music. The entire year, it had to have come out that year. What's the best year? And you say 84, and Gary, my dad, says
76.
76.
So, and you tasked us, you said, send me a playlist with 10 songs. So I immediately made a playlist with 10 songs. But then Gary won't make a playlist with 10 songs because he's like, I can't pick the right 10. There's too many. It's more like about how many there are and like the different genres, which he's not wrong. But I came to a big life. What's it when you figure out something about yourself?
Epiphany, or like
an epiphany.
Moment.
If someone gives me an assignment, I am going to finish it. I don't care if it's not the best. I'm just going to, I have my 10. I was going to send it out, but he didn't make one. So I'm just going to, I'm going to do.
That is true. That is that is genetic. I have that. I was discussing with a friend who was talking about asking for an extension on a paper in his graduate program. And I was like, I have never done that. I have never asked for an extension. I think I asked to take a final late because I had a kidney infection. So I've had like a medical bump, but I've never.
I know you struggled with like asking for that too. You would have gone in and done it.
Yes, I did. I would have gone in and I did one of them. And that's why I knew I had a kidney infection, because my professor was like, you need to leave.
You're like vomiting on the floor as you handed it in.
But that was a rough catheter. Night. I remember.
They were like, girl, your Latin 103 exam is not that important. But I was like, yeah, I've never done that. Like, that is just something that I will always rather it be done than good, or like having the feeling, I don't know. I'll finish. I'm going to finish the assignment. Even if it's not entirely correct, I'm going to finish it. I'm going to hand it in.
Oh, yeah. Better done than good.
Maybe
but
you
it's still good, though.
a great team on The Amazing Race. I think with that kind of attitude,
Not physically.
yeah, I could see you
or emotionally.
I could see you doing fine, but you would have like a really fucked up accident, like the pumpkin in the face. You know what I mean?
Would be like both of us would be too nervous to ask anyone for help. Like we were just discussing. We were just discussing how Jen got a coffee that was so horrendous. It's like neither of us would ever send anything back, but it was like so bad that it almost wanted to be like, just so you guys know, please don't serve this to anyone else kind of levels of bad. And both of us just like awkwardly sat there. We're like, what do we do? What do we say? So yeah, The Amazing Race would not go well. We'd be at the airport. We'd be like, wait, I don't know.
I think you could do it.
But back to the so I am going to do this a few times, and then I'm gonna see in the end who scores better, 76 or 84.
Can
so,
I?
Okay.
It would be a recurring theme.
I have a question for you, and this is perfect. This blends perfect. Can you tell me about Bruce Springsteen?
Yeah, this is really important.
The biopic trailer just came out.
Go watch it if you haven't, Jen.
Like a
also,
biopic.
if you're out there, boring, whatever. He sounds just fucking like him, though. It's crazy.
He just sounds fucking like him. And
who's playing him again?
Jeremy Allen White.
The bear.
Yep, the bear. He sounds just like him. The album Born in the USA came out in 1984.
It sure did.
Yeah. So I'm assuming we're going to touch on that again later. But is he as big of a deal so that he needs his own biopic? Like, I've seen
While
Bruce Springsteen.
he's still living.
Exactly. Like, I've seen Bruce Springsteen. He's great. He still could get it, and he kicks ass still at like 70 whatever years old. He is running around that stage. But I, as a young person, don't feel like I have the same amount of respect for him in the way that, like, a David Bowie or, like, a Queen or, you know, Elton John or something like that. Which, mind you, I know he's more on, like, the rough and tumble rock side of it. And he's, like, I don't know, closer to fucking Dave Matthews Band in my head.
Yeah.
Like, listen, not Elton John, but way better than Dave Matthews Band. At that time, he was the guy. He was the guy.
He was the boss.
Yes, it certainly was. I have a friend who was really, really big Springsteen fan, but yeah, he was it. It was like MTV and the videos and the live performances. And oh my God, RIP to my dad, greatest guy ever. Loved the song Dancing in the Dark.
That's a good one.
And he would just like at weddings, he would go absolutely crazy dancing to it and stuff. So, but yes, he was the deal. He was the real deal back then. So
okay.
Because it is starting to feel like, have we run through the discography of iconic musicians? Like, he's iconic, but I'm like, we can just stop making biopics. We don't just need to find people who are literally still fucking alive. I'm like, he could do something. He could really pop off in his final years, and then your documentary won't accurately reflect that. No. So maybe wait.
Yeah, there was another movie like kind of based on his work at one point, and I can't remember the name. It was a book, and then it was a movie, and it was like quirky and like about some kid who coming of age, you know, but Bruce Springsteen themed or something. And then what else? E Street Band, Clarence Clemens,
of course,
best saxophone player ever. Yeah.
Okay. I needed to thank you. He's one of those ones where it's like, I felt like I knew him because my mom, and that was it. Yeah. But I don't feel like he's made his way into my life in the same way that like other iconic artists from the 80s have. Like, I feel like Pat Benatar had more of an effect on me than Bruce Springsteen did.
I would put them at the same level. Yeah.
Okay.
For sure. So, chocolate or vanilla?
Chocolate.
Vanilla.
Chocolate? Okay. All right. So I did one that was 2 versus 2. So I'm going to say chocolate and chocolate chip or vanilla and strawberry.
So these are 2 things that pair together. So you're going to give us 2 choices, but it's really 4. But I'm going to say chocolate and chocolate chip.
Ooh, I'm going to go vanilla strawberry. That's an iconic duo.
I'm going to go vanilla strawberry also. So I also had another epiphany. I say chocolate every single time, and I know I've brought this up, but every time there's cupcakes at work for somebody's birthday, I take the vanilla one instead of the chocolate one. What?
I think cupcakes is a different realm in itself, though. I think that's a lot in one bite of anything.
I'm gonna agree with you. All right, Afternoon Delight by Starlight Local Band. Oh my God, Starlight Vocal Band or For the Longest Time by Billy Joel.
Ooh.
I really like Billy Joel, so I do think I will be picking Billy Joel. I just think of that, Glee, obviously. Afternoon Delight is like, I'm closing my eyes and I'm watching that episode of Glee
Actually, yeah.
right now. But no, Billy Joel. I was at a show recently, and the guitarist's string broke in the show, so somebody had to restring it. And so they were like, what do we do? We have to change the set or whatever. And she's like, would you guys mind if I did a Billy Joel cover? And I was like, I think every artist should have to do a Billy Joel cover.
Honestly.
That's how I feel.
I think I'm actually gonna go. Don't get me wrong, I love Billy Joel. That's not my favorite song by him, even though I think harmonically it's gorgeous. But the joy that I get from hearing Afternoon Delight play in a public space just on a random Tuesday just doesn't compare. So I'm gonna go.
Does make it onto like the Marshalls playlist, and it's like, y'all do know that this song is just about fucking, right? But I guess we all just accept that.
I love it. It's like everyone's in on the joke, but no one's gonna say anything. So I'm gonna, I'll go Afternoon Delight.
Okay, these are all gonna be really hard for me, but I will, and I'm not gonna pick 84 every time just to make my point, but I will pick Billy Joel on this one.
And that's fair.
All right. Next one, Take the Money and Run by Steve Miller Band, or Glamorous Life by Sheila E.
Glamorous Life by Sheila E. I love that song. And you do not listen to the Prince version. Listen to the Sheila E. version that is 7.5 minutes long. 7.5 minutes is the perfect length for any song. I'm putting my foot down.
Mm-hmm.
That's correct. I want the 5-minute drum solo.
Absolutely.
Give it to me.
That's what she's there for. It's Sheila E. I'm gonna agree with you, Dara, on this one.
Yeah, same. I love both these songs, but I love Glamorous Life. Okay, the next one is a two-pack. So You're My Best Friend and Somebody to Love by Queen, or I Want to Break Free and Radio Gaga.
Also by Queen. I feel like I'm gonna pick the second one, Radio Gaga and I Want to Break Free. I think those songs just excite me more.
I don't really love I Want to Break Free. I do love the video, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But I love Radio Gaga. And then what was it? I honestly think the song You're My Best Friend really irks me.
Really?
I don't know why. I just find it like really annoying, but Somebody to Love is so good. Shit, Jen.
Especially good when Anne Hathaway sang it at the end of Ella Enchanted. With the Giants. That's what I always think of when I hear that song.
I think I'm gonna go the first option with Somebody to Love and
Best Friend.
Yeah, because I think Somebody to Love trumps everything.
I thought this one was so hard, but Radio Gaga is my favorite Queen song.
It's really good.
I'm gonna have to do that. Next one is Rhiannon by Fleetwood Mac, or Reflex by Duran Duran.
Oh, I'm in kind of a Duran Duran era, but I love Rhiannon by Fleetwood Mac. I bet Tusk has been my Fleetwood Mac song of the moment. That has been my go-to.
That's one of my all-times from them. I fucking love Tusk.
Great for a drummer. Of
course, which is why I think, yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. I'll go Rhiannon on this one too, though, for sure. That's iconic, obviously.
All right, I'll go with you guys, but it is hard to go against Duran Duran. Next one is Fox on the Run by Sweet, or 99 Luft Balloons by Nina.
I don't know if I know Fox on the Run by Sweet.
You'd know it if you heard it.
But I know 99 Luft Balloons. Love that song. I love when that one comes up in a movie. I'm thinking specifically of Boogie Nights because we watched it pretty recently, but I feel like that's in a couple of iconic movies for sure.
For some reason, I feel like that song is connected to Bill Hader for me, and I love Bill Hader. It's not from anything. Like, I always think of the intro to the Skeleton Twins movie, but he's not even playing that one. He's playing, what's that song? Oh, Danny, dee. No, I can't. I'm not.
I don't know what you're talking. What skeleton movie? I don't know what you're talking about.
The Skeleton Twins with Kristen Wiig and Bill Hader, and they both play like Bill Hader just had a suicide attempt, and Kristen Wiig has like a failing relationship, and they're just two weird sets of twins, or one weird set of twins. Anyways,
I've never heard of this.
99
I bet
Luft
it's
Balloons.
hysterical.
It is. It's really good. But yeah, 99 Luft Balloons, I think, is the correct answer here.
Yeah, same. Bum, ba-da, bum, ba-da. Next one is She's Gone by Hall & Oates, or Out of Touch by Hall & Oates.
I'd like to pick the third. I can't go for that. I don't even know, like, neither
No
of these
can
even
do.
really, like,
Yeah,
pop
none of
into
these-
my mind.
You know she's gone.
And then what was the other one? She's Gone or... Oh, I like that one. I like that one, because that's from the album with the blue behind them and the two and their heads.
Yes.
I know. I listen to that one a lot. Yes, I like that one.
Sorry, girls, I'm playing
You playing
this
it?
because I have to hear it for myself. Wait, I already like She's Gone.
Yeah. That's
I
a
really
great
like
song.
that funky dance beat. But, yeah, I'll go for that one.
Yeah, I'll go for that one too. Next one is Shake Your Booty by Casey and the Sunshine Band or Give It Up by Casey and the Sunshine Band.
Shake Your Booty for posterity.
Yeah, absolutely. Shake Your Booty.
I'm going to go with Give It Up. That was my favorite Casey and Sunshine Band song. That were
Yeah. Give it up, give it up. Oh, wow,
yeah.
that is their most streamed song
wow.
on Spotify.
On the
I would
way,
have guessed Boogie Shoes.
Yeah, but I think that's just...
My Boogie Shoes. But yeah, that's just me.
That's our experience. That's our lived experience.
Dara said that Casey and the Sunshine Band was a one-hit wonder, and Gary proceeded to play every Casey and the Sunshine Band song on the way home.
Leveled me. I
I'm
said
sure.
one hit wonder, and he said, "You're sitting here for the next 20 minutes with Mr. Sunshine and his band,
And you know,
and their robust discography." Okay.
Next one is You Should Be Dancing by the Bee Gees or Footloose by Kenny Loggins.
I am gonna pick the Bee Gees.
yeah,
I like the Bee Gees more.
out of principle, I'm going
yeah.
Bee Gees.
Yeah, Bee Gees for sure. Next one is Don't Fear the Reaper, Blue Oyster Cult, or I Want a New Drug by Huey Lewis and the News.
Blue Oyster Cult.
Yeah, I'm not really a Huey Lewis guy, but I do like Blue Oyster Cult.
Yeah, I'll go with Blue Oyster Cult too. Last one, Fernando by ABBA or Love is a Battlefield by Pat Benatar.
Love is a Battlefield, covered by Jordan Sparks on whatever season of American Idol she won. That was on my iPod shuffle. No, but I'm definitely picking ABBA. Like,
I'm going Pat on this one. I'm gonna go.
Ooh.
What was the ABBA song?
Fernando.
That's one of my least favorites. Honestly, I just think of Cher singing it. So yeah, I'm going Pat.
Yeah, I'll go with Pat also. So, like I said, more to come, but that was first song was 76, second song was 84.
Okay, well, what's the tally for?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to go back and listen to it. Yeah,
Perfect.
I do think 84 is winning, though, from the vibes of this conversation.
I think so.
Agreed.
I would have to fully tally. But let us know if you're listening and you have a rival best year in music, argument, just for whatever, personal or objective. I still haven't landed on mine. It might be like 2001. I mean, obviously you just pick something from a time when you were alive that was like very influential.
Like, girl, it might be 2015.
It would need to sit on it.
Yeah.
Absolutely not 2015.
There's some heat. I don't know. No idea exactly.
But yeah, let us know if you have any musical thoughts or chocolate or vanilla themes for the future, or if you want to listen to Jen's playlist. I don't know, just Google 1984 playlist and you can probably find it on Spotify. Jen, thank you for being here. Thank you for providing us with some musical decisions to make. We love you and we'll see you next week.
I love you guys. Have an awesome night.
Bye, Jen.
Bye.
Did you get down? One of the things that really stuck out to me during the title credits, besides Susan Sarandon's name, was the fact that they credited the makeup artist with Makeup Illusions.
Makeup Illusions. Okay.
Which I do think for 1980, what do we say, 3? The makeup in this was fantastic.
Really good.
Amazing.
I really liked the effects of the aging and like him pulling out his hair and stuff. I thought it didn't take me out of it too much, but it was also not like, I don't know, so real that it was upsetting. Like, you know what I mean? It still looked kind of hokey and like rubbery and I don't know, added to the texture of the scene because all of it was very stylized. So I liked it. I loved the costumes as well. I thought that the outfits were so cool, especially
the sets too.
Miss Miriam,
oh my God.
her gorgeous house. Yeah, so cool.
I was less impressed by Miriam's house. I did like Miriam's house, but it was kind of giving the ghost effect to me. Like, girl, what are you doing with all that space? What the fuck? But Susan Sarandon's house, oh my God. that shower scene with her. First of all, obviously Susan's right in the shower, but she's getting out, and it's like all these blue lights surrounded by this giant panel of mirrors, and it's so hot and sexy in 80s, dude. My God.
There are also several scenes or like shots of somebody like in front of a really cool bar cart. And it happens twice in 2 separate locations of like a lit up like swivel bar cart of the martini supplies or whatever.
Yes.
So cool. And then it happens again with a different cool bar cart in a different room. We just needed to point that out.
Yeah. Capitalism was alive and well in 1983. Yeah, gorgeous though. I do sort of wish we got, this is very much like a goth cult classic, I guess, from what I read about it. I wish we got a little more goth in it. I feel like it starts off really strong with the club and everything like that, but then it takes it to a very like aristocratic sort of place.
Yes, and the music lessons, we get all these flashbacks to David Bowie in this like Mozart ponytail.
Yeah.
And yeah, it definitely vibe shifts, and it tonally still keeps the kind of creepy, and I think the music does have a good pull through.
Absolutely. And the lurking aspect,
I wanted more. I think that they should have swapped out, take out the whole violin child scene and have it be like the DJ at the club.
Yes, please.
The saxophone player at the goth club. And that's who your next bitch is gonna be. I don't know. And bring the conflict back to the club, please, because I'm trying to get there.
It was a really cool intro. It was really sick. Definitely
people don't sit in cages anymore. I mean, I guess I'm just not going to clubs that have cages.
I know. I actually went to a club the other day, also a goth club, and they had go-go dancers. No cages, but there were go-go dancers, which I love and respect.
And you know what? I shouldn't be over here saying such pro-cage rhetoric when maybe the go-go dancers want to be freed, okay? And that's fair.
They've got to move their arms, you know? You can't be boxed in. You gotta let them move and groove. It is really impressive to watch, though. Like, I don't know, like, I can maybe dance for, like, 20 minutes or something like that before I'm like, okay, I need a break. Those girls go for hours.
Right, and, like, hard.
And, yeah, because you're putting on a performance.
Yeah, professional dancers of all sorts are, like,
hats off.
Athletes. I learned recently, I was learning about stripper classes, and you'd go do like the stripper pole classes. The pole spins. I didn't know that the pole spun.
I didn't either.
When a dancer is on the pole is on like another pole, and you grab it and it spins, and that's why they're spinning. They're not just oiled up. I thought that they were just greasy, and that they were so strong, and that they were just greasy, and that's why they could spin on the pole. But the pole is spinning. I never knew that.
I didn't know that either until just now.
Which makes sense.
So much sense.
Because you do just have to hold yourself up and then use momentum to swing the pole. I thought they were slithering their bodies.
Yeah, that's what I assumed as well. Huh.
Yeah. Learn something new every day.
Yeah, learn something new every day, I guess.
Shows how often the two of us are
at the club.
Engaging.
At the strip club.
I'm going to a drag queen is hosting like a thing at a club, and I had some friends who wanted to go, but the theme is beach sluts. And so I was like looking at the bathing suits I own, and I'm like, I don't think any of these could be categorized as beach slut. I was like, what am I going to wear to the beach slut party? I'm like, I dress like a grandma. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's tough because I feel like, especially if it's a club thing, you kind of want a one piece because it's basically.
But I'm also not just gonna wear a swimsuit out in public either.
Yeah,
like, I have to wear.
You just have to get a body. You have to get a bodysuit.
Or like, I'm just gonna wear like shorts and a tank top or something. I'm gonna be the least slutty bitch at the beach slut party, and that's okay. I know myself.
Fair enough. Who's the queen though?
Morphine Love Dion. We love Morphine Love Dion in this house. She is a lip sync diva, and she's from Florida, so she's very, very beach. She's very Miami.
Is this a Boston show? Is this Providence?
No, this is Providence. It's one of the feral parties, though. A Tara Dikhof.
Yes.
I'm going to take a moment to shout out one of my favorite drag queens, Tara Dikhof. You guys should go follow her. She's from Boston. She's local. She's not been on any of the shows, but you should follow her socials. She's so funny. She bikes, like, to the gig.
I love it.
In full drag, in her full mug. She's, like, on her bike.
It's amazing.
And she takes these videos. She's just amazing. You should give her a follow. She's also, like, activist. She's a community organizer. She's really fucking cool. Shouts out Tara Dikhof. Link in the description below.
My coworker lives like right next to her too, so I know she's hauling ass. She's hauling ass over that Cambridge Bridge.
You know where she lives? We should show up and ask her to be on the pod.
And honestly, she just might.
Her house.
She just might. Shout out. Well, we have a mutual friend who was actually on the pod, Nervous, who real name David James, but drag queen Nervous.
Which was our Labyrinth episode. So
yes, literally our Labyrinth episode. It's perfect.
I'll also put honestly, Nervous, our friend David, who is now Nervous, David James, who is now Nervous, the drag queen. I'll also put their drag queen stuff fantastic. Below. Also, please go follow them. Amazing queen.
Some of the coolest events that I've been to is totally done by them, and they're also like actively in drag doing the event besides just running it. So really impressive stuff. Honestly, if you're from Massachusetts, get into the drag scene over here.
Or anywhere, wherever you live. Like, I always have so much better of a time going and watching the local, like, I don't really like live the club drag. And I don't like to go out, but going and seeing live drag is so much better than anything on TV. Like, I love Drag Race. I'm all more than the next bitch probably, but I don't know. It's something very cool about going out into your community and meeting real people and watching people perform in real life, and it's very moving and cool and fun, and you should try it because the world is really scary and sometimes you don't want to do those things. I know, but then you do them and you're like, I'm glad I did that. So
exactly. Yeah.
Support local drag. That's what.
Exactly. Speaking of not quite local anymore, but have you seen the new casting for Oh Mary? Miss Jinx Monsoon stepping into the role.
Yes.
So we're going to get tickets.
Titus wasn't in it for very long. It was...
did Titus do it?
It was Cola Scola, and then it was Titus Burgess, and now it's Jinx Monsoon. I feel like the show is getting a rapid turnover of really, like, big stars.
Oh, I'm sure. It's a huge role that I'm sure a lot of people... It's not a musical, right? It's a play?
It's a play, I believe.
It's a play. Yeah, I think that opens up a lot of opportunities for some really amazing queer performers to go on and do it. So, yeah, that doesn't shock me. I feel like that'll be one that gets rifled through just a train ran on that role.
Yeah, I would love to go see it.
It looks phenomenal.
The last time I was in the city, it was just a little out of my price range to see, but that was still...
And that was pre-Tony, I think when it was, so now you're fucked.
Yeah, exactly. Right. So, like, now we gotta wait until it comes, like, an off-Broadway tour. Or we gotta just, like, put on a community version in Worcester.
Exactly. Yeah, at the, oh my god, the Hanover Theater. Mm-hmm. Of course. Shall we get into our regularly scheduled programming, though?
Fuck, marry, kill.
There's an easy 3.
Miriam, David Bowie, Susan Sarandon.
Yes.
Ooh, okay. I feel like do we gotta factor in, like, the vampirism of it all? Because I'm like, do I kill the head vampire, but then do I have to become the head vampire? I don't know if I want to be the head vampire. I think
it's only if she makes you a vampire.
I want to be one of Susan Sarandon's 300-year bitches. Because I feel like she's gonna be a real one, and she's gonna be like, hey...
Here's the
at
heads
300, you're gonna rot. And what was the whole thing that they couldn't die? Because David Bowie kept being like, please put me out of my misery. And she kept being like, I can't. Was that just because she was selfish and wanted all of her corpses to rot?
Die. The corpses, they can't die. That's the whole thing. Is essentially what you do is you become so fragile and brittle that you can barely move or whatever, which, I mean, plot hole because they all sort of attack her at the end. But is there
no, even, I was gonna say, even destroying the body, like, there's no way. You're telling me there's no way.
I think it's the idea of your consciousness lives on for eternity, even without, like, a physical being.
Sure, so, I guess. Yeah. Maybe I don't want that then, but I feel like Susan Sarandon, we're going to use, a hypothesis? We're going to use the scientific method. My hypothesis is that we can figure out a way to get the old vampires to die. Just destroy the body or burn them or something.
In 300, and you have 300 years to figure it out.
Right. I'm like, let's hang out for 300 years, figure it out, and then ask me when it's time.
Not that modern medicine is going to come into play here, because, it's vampires, but do you know how fast medicine evolves? I mean, we've only had it for, like, 100 years, maybe. When did we even know that germs were a thing? Like, the 30s? We haven't hit 100 years on germs yet.
And you're telling me you've been around since ancient Egypt... And you haven't
figured this out?
Lazy
no, that just tells
bones.
me she's selfish. And you know
That is
what?
true.
I don't need a selfish lover. I'm gonna kill Miriam.
I think I am too, and then I think I'm gonna marry Susan Sarandon and I'm gonna fuck David Bowie.
Obviously.
And
yes.
even I would prefer to fuck young David Bowie from the Goth Club, but when he was old and shriveled, and if he was like, please, one last time, please, please, I'm gonna age 10 years in the next 10 seconds. Will you please just make me nut one more time? And
Please
Miriam
give me
was
some
so
sloppy.
she like gave him she like went for it for a second, but then she sort of is like, oh, this is not and then she like carries him to the attic. I'd be like, I'll bounce on it crazy style one last time for you, John. Like, Ray,
it's the least
I could do.
It's the least you could do. If you can't actually kill him and put him out of his misery, let him fucking nut it out.
Before I put him in this box forever.
Yeah. That shit's coming out like dust.
Yeah.
Yeah, obviously.
It's like dry. It's like they're like scabs.
Oh my god, no. Literally Nosferatu style dick.
Oh my god. Well.
I would love to see those two get together, really freak it out.
Mm-hmm. I've been wanting to rewatch that one again. Already. I've been coming up.
I've already seen it 3 times.
Somebody took Beowulf out at the library, and I was like, do you know? And they had no fucking clue what I was talking about. I was like, this director is going to make this movie, and he's going to do it so accurately. And they were like, I don't know what you're talking about. I was like, just you wait. Just you wait, because there's going to be the best goddamn Beowulf movie. Yeah. Keep it on your radar. 2029, probably it'll come out.
And then if we open it up for the whole movie, not that there's a whole other lot of options, but I would like to suck the soul out of Willem Dafoe in this one.
Ooh, real? Okay.
I have to say it.
Phone booth youth number 2, or whatever his
fine by
probably
me.
said.
Fine by me. Him, and then I'm still gonna marry Susan, and I'll kill, who am I gonna kill, actually? I'll kill the cop. Because he's a cop.
I don't want to get tangled up in this vampirism business, because this brand of vampirism is not really seeming like I don't like this.
It's not all that glamorous,
especially because they can't eat regular food. Some vampires can eat regular food. These vampires seem to retch, and I'm like, but they can drink sherry. You can drink sherry, but you can't. She can't eat her steak. I'm like, that's where I draw the line.
Steak. Come on,
that's where I draw the line. But I, in real life, am married to an animal research person, so I feel like I gotta just stick with what I know. I'm gonna marry Susan Sarandon's coworker, ripping cigs inside. They were studying those monkeys.
Oh, was it the one with the glasses?
Yes.
I'm
gonna marry him. I feel like we're gonna vibe.
He had good swag.
And so then I'm gonna fuck Susan Sarandon, and then I'll kill. Maybe I'll kill that FBI agent too. Sure, or
the child.
No, the child gets to live, because that was my whole bothersome point of this movie, is that I was like, that didn't really need to happen.
No.
Yeah. I'll just kill the FBI agent too. Fuck them.
Fair enough. Speaking of sherry, what are you going to drink with this?
It is tough. I don't really like sherry either, but this movie does make me want to drink it, because she's like, you got to try it. And I'm like, maybe I do.
She said, you'll like this one.
You'll like it.
And I said, my pants are already down.
Do you have a better solution than sherry? I don't really.
Not really. I found a cocktail that utilizes sherry, and I think you'll like the sound of it, actually.
Okay.
It's called a London Calling, and this is circa likable cocktails on TikTok. But I think since we end up in Sarah's London flat, I'll take it. But it's pretty simple. It's a half ounce of simple syrup, lemon juice, and Fino sherry. 2 dashes of bitters, and you're a gin girl, an ounce and a half of London dry gin. Shake it with ice and strain it, and it sounds pretty nice.
Sure. I don't see why not. I'd certainly try that.
And then to pair with it, I wanna sort of reference the movie, at least, because there's that one scene, the dinner scene, where he's like, you're not eating your steak, and you sent the clams back, obviously. But I think keeping it simple with some, like, garlic steamed clams sounds like a really nice idea. You get the clams reference, you get to watch them dike out with their own clams, of course.
Real.
And it also is very much like, at least to me, and I'm not a seafood person, so someone correct me if I'm wrong, it feels kind of like a well-to-do dish, you know? It's like nothing fancy, but rich people would love it, and like, yes, you said classy. It sort of gives me like the posh vibe that we get from Miriam and John. And also it's covered in garlic butter, which apparently wouldn't even affect them because they're the classy vampires.
Other than the fact it would make them retch because they can't eat food. I'm still hung up on that.
Yeah. So
I think you should just, when I'm having a hunger, when I'm Susan Sarandon up in the billowing canopy bed,
I hope
doubled over because I'm having a hunger. I'm like, what do I have? I just think you should...
No, I'm excited to hear what you have to say.
Oh, I think you should just make like the most gluttonous sandwich that you can conjure up. Whatever your heart desires. Like, I love, you get a good bread going, you get your meat component, and then just go from there. You can really fuck around. I would want to do maybe some sort of cured meats. So like maybe like a prosciutto, but also a bacon. Like, we're getting gluttonous as fuck with the sandwich is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
A jam in there maybe. Like a jam and a mayo. Fuck it. Toast the bread with mayo. Fuck it.
Knowing you, I was really interested to see if you were going to say a baked ziti, because I know that's
ziti.
That's your word.
When I'm having a hunger, that's more when I'm like having a depression stoop. I make a baked ziti.
Okay, got it.
Because it'll feed you. Because it's like a comfort meal in the way that's also kind of like autism meal, when it's like I can't eat something that's not this exact food. I need to have the same thing for the same meal, like 9 days in a row, because I can just sense that about myself.
Yeah.
I'm like, I need ziti for every meal for the next couple of days. I can feel it.
Absolutely. I really love I love a crispy prosciutto on my sandwich, honestly.
Ooh, yeah.
If I'm feeling real bougie with it. Ham
in a sandwich, I always crisp it up in the pan first. I feel like
and you're right.
Ham and prosciutto are both too, like, the softness of it is...
I don't love it.
It's better crisped.
Exactly. So I agree with you there. Any drink that speaks to you?
I liked what you just said. I was honestly just gonna say you should drink sherry. Like, that's really all that comes up in the movie.
I don't think I've even had sherry before.
Or like high C, like a fruit punch. I don't know, blood.
Yeah, from the McDonald's tap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, one of those. Okay, and what are you gonna follow it up with then?
Part of me says The Hunger Games, but that is kind of stupid. I immediately really wanted to watch the movie Daybreakers, which is Ethan Hawke is a vampire, and it's about that the vampire race has succeeded, and that there are now predominantly far more vampires than humans, so they're like hunting the last humans like for food.
That sounds good.
It's like a vampire food scarcity movie. Yeah, I'm really interested to see it. So I was watching the end of this one. I was like, I should watch Daybreakers. So that's kind of where my mind went to.
It's funny that you bring up Ethan Hawke, because with the science in this and everything like that, it was giving Gattaca to me for a minute. Not that that's what I recommend. I think... I don't know if I even recommended... I feel like I recommended this last week, but I can't say. I think this, especially with the, like, you belong to me sort of aspect of it, I think you watch Interview with a Vampire. I think it's very classic. It's very classic vampires. They got the fangs, they got the wonky eyes, can't go out into the sun. I think, you go back and you reclaim the vampire. And I think it's the whole thing of, like, Lestat is, like, decaying, but, oh, no, he's not. He's back. There's enough through lines there that I think I could get behind it. And
there's some 80s. There's some 80s in there too. There's Brad Pitt with his low pony going to the cinema in the 80s. He loves the cinema. Interview. I gotta start the show. The more
I think I will say
this month has just reinforced that I gotta watch the show.
The show does give me more of the vibe that I think I would be looking for post this watch, because I think Lestat is a lot more controlling, I guess, just from like the handful of episodes that I've seen. But
wait, did you see that they're going to give Tom Cruise an Oscar? They're just giving him one. He's getting an honorary one next time. They already announced it. They're like, he gets one.
They just announced someone else is getting an honorary.
Next time we do one of those, you can just have one. That's what they said.
So fucking stupid.
I almost feel like this is because they're starting the stunt category this year, but they didn't. I feel like they didn't want to make it seem like they made the category for him, so they're going to give him a separate award so that they can award somebody else in the stunt category. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
that's my sense. That's my theory.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, sure, whatever. An honorary Oscar. Like, I'm sorry,
that doesn't mean anything for work performance. Like, a Lifetime Achievement Award can be a separate thing, but an Oscar, a Lifetime Oscar, they're just delegitimizing your whole institution. Not that they were ever very legitimate.
Have they given honorary Oscars before?
Yeah.
Or is this the first time?
No, I think it's a thing.
I think, because I know they do the Lifetime Achievement stuff, but...
All of it is stupid. Awards are stupid, but we should have our own awards show. I would give this movie award for Best Roller Skater.
I think that's a good one. Jesus Christ. Yeah,
or maybe
whatever.
like most accurate portrayal of a hospital experience, waiting.
Yeah, honestly.
And feeling like they forgot about you and being like, should I ask someone if they forgot about me? You're like, my appointment was an hour ago. I have aged 100 years.
I'm gonna give this movie honorary Oscar for, God, honestly, for its lesbian sex.
Yeah, honorary lesbian sex.
Yeah. Solid.
We have our gay movie awards ceremony, and you get a little rose toy as we're like, Susan Sarandon, you get a Bellessa pocket vibe. Here you go, diva. Use promo code SWAMP. Like, Susan Sarandon.
God. And she would.
Those triumphant titties of yours, girl.
Literally. Oh my God.
Hats off to that.
Well, it's the whole thing of they're still iconic. Have you seen
it? She knows it.
And she knows it. She steps on another red
They
carpet.
get better with age. She
literally
pushes
get better
them up
with
and
age.
they look phenomenal.
I think her daughter's tweeted, like, stop talking about my mom's boobs on my timeline.
I'll never stop.
I can't. I'm sorry.
This movie might be peak. I didn't even know it, but this movie might be peak Susan Sarandon.
I think.
Titty.
Yeah. Yeah. Honestly, just an honorary Oscar just for Susan Sarandon. White shirt, no bra.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's in her contract.
Exactly. Yeah. Best performance by a white t-shirt.
Yeah. And then the actual movie, I'm going to give like a 6 out of 10. I liked it. Yeah, it was good. I enjoyed it. I did think like some of the weird lore about Egyptian, like that all could have been taken out.
I just would have loved something to be a little more fleshed out.
Something more centric, yeah. And then the whole like grooming the child, and we're going to talk about it, but without ever really addressing it, and then she'll just get murdered, so it doesn't matter kind of thing. Like, whatever. Pacing, weird as fuck. But ultimately, like a pretty cool movie to look at. Yeah. And a pretty different take on vampirism that I was at least somewhat interested to see this world building that they were doing, because it was somewhat unique.
A really good variety this month, I would say, in terms of like types of vampires.
And so if there are any other gay vampire movies that I didn't know about, please let me know about them, because we're trying to fulfill them this month. And I honestly thought this one was just going to get the pass because of David Bowie, but it turns out we did get Bump and Clams. So if it turns out Bram Stoker's Dracula actually has like docking or something, like I'd love to go see it. No, I've seen that movie. It's not gay, but let us know about gay vampires, what you think. Also, what we should do in the future. Month themes, movies, whatever. Let us know. You can reach us at places, and that's all I've got to say. Happy Pride. Go get yourself a baked clam, honey. And
I want to see everyone out here with Clams Casino.
Goodbye and good night.